Hi, this is Matthew Cohen's Capstone 3 presentation of Library Paternal Groups Address Depression Among Stay-at-Home Fathers. This PowerPoint was created last semester with 3 of my fellow students in my Capstone 2 course. This topic is important to me because as the father of 3 children, I did have the experience of being somewhat of a stay-at-home father with my 3rd child. During my first 2 children, upbringing, my wife did stay home with them, and I worked full-time. However, when we chose to have a 3rd child, at the time my wife had returned to work, and my schedule was a little more flexible. So while I was not a full-time stay-at-home father, I think it's safe to say I was the primary caregiver. And so I felt this topic was relatable to me on a personal level. I think this topic is important for stay-at-home fathers out there to know that they're not alone and that there are challenges that they face, but with support of other stay-at-home fathers, they can be successful caregivers for their children. The current number of stay-at-home fathers is on the rise in the U.S. as well as specifically Arizona and Phoenix. As you can see by the charts listed here, there's been about a 25% growth in the past 10 years of stay-at-home fathers according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and it's safe to say those numbers will continue to grow. I think a primary reason for this is due to the current change in the number of women entering and remaining in the workforce. The days of the single income family seem to be in the past for the majority of the population. More and more families are requiring both mom and dad to enter the workforce. And in some of those situations where the mother is the primary or makes the majority of the income, it makes sense financially for the father to not work rather than pay for daycare and stay at home with their children. As stated on the sheet, financial reasons are a big part of this. The cost of childcare has drastically increased over the past several years, and sometimes it's just not cost effective to have the children in daycare when a parent is able to stay home and take care of them instead. Another rationale for the increase would be the ever-changing views of gender roles. Again, the Sally homemaker with the providing husband, that is just a thing of the past these days. So there's more and more women, again, entering and remaining in the workforce post-pregnancy, and men starting to assume the role of primary caregiver at home. Several positives can come out from a stay-at-home father. First and foremost is just creating an immediate, hopeful, lifelong bond and relationship with their child. But it also can teach these fathers to become better people in terms of understanding what the child needs to have a successful childhood. They show that stay-at-home fathers are often more nurturing, have better communication skills, and what would make most sense is improved parenting skills. It also makes them more relatable to their wives, particularly if the mother previously was a stay-at-home parent and they have switched roles. And it also can give tremendous personal pride for what the father is providing for the family. But what we're here to talk about today is stay-at-home father depression. And as you can see, the highest rate of paternal depression occurs prior to the child turning 1 year of age. So this would be the first 9 to 10 months of their lives when they're the most needy, most demanding, and incapable of a high level of communication. The father is having to determine the baby's needs without the baby being able to verbally communicate them. They're having to learn based on their actions, the sound or tone of their cry, what it is the baby needs. And this can often lead to drastic levels of depression. Things that affect this depression, number one would be not having a innate sense of what they're doing. We've always heard about the maternal instinct, but not often do we discuss the paternal instinct. So not knowing how to care for a child. Being at home with a child, lack of adult contact or social isolation can often lead to depression, feeling like they no longer have a connection to society outside of what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. Sleep deprivation clearly could lead to depression, as it does in many other aspects, not just being the sole provider of childcare. And then the changes in social status and financial status are massive. Many men still have the thought process that they must be the financial provider for their family. They must be the primary earner. They must, lead by example financially. And in accepting the stay-at-home father role, most likely that is no longer the case. And while many men might state this is a role they welcome and cherish, studies are showing that what we found is that that is not the case. And internalizing those feelings, those thoughts and feelings, are really increasing how they feel about themselves and increasing the amount of depression they experience. The change in the career status correlates with the social and financial, but again, not being that primary giver. And then I think one topic that needs to be explored in greater detail is the lack of role models, being that this is somewhat of a first generation thing. The numbers are much higher than they were in the past. These stay-at-home fathers don't know who to look at, where their counterparts, the moms, can reach out to their moms, who can reach out to their moms, and so on and so forth, where it's generational, who has taken care of the children. And with this transition from female to male, it's somewhat uncharted waters. And so these stay-at-home fathers don't know who to look for support and a better understanding of the expectations that are being placed on them. Parental socializing is the solution to this. First and most important would be the support of their spouse or partner. This is a decision that must be made by both man and woman, or mother and father, in terms of the primary caregiver. And so having both sides on board is crucial to the stay-at-home father being successful. Having a support network of friends, whether they be male or female, whether they be stay-at-home moms, fathers, or two-income families who put their children into daycare, stay-at-home fathers really need that support of their friends to understand what they're going through, and while they might not be able to put themselves in the stay-at-home father's shoes, to at least empathize with them and be supportive for them. And also the family, having the family on board, not having it be something that the grandparents view as a negative, making sure that the extended family supports the decision and is there to assist the stay-at-home father in any capacity, so that they feel that they have that support system in place and they have people to talk to, and they can overcome some of those feelings of isolation, which can hopefully minimize the depression. Making sure that the stay-at-home fathers have people who are willing to offer assistance and support their decision is crucial, so that they can feel more confident about what they're doing and the help that is available to them should they need it.